next guest, Rebecca Lamorte, had everything you'd want in your early 20s. She just graduated college, moved to the Big Apple, and had a new job she loved. But in an instant, her life was permanently changed, and she feared she'd never walk again.
When I was 22 years old, I experienced every New Yorker's worst nightmare. I was riding the subway home after lunch with a friend. I remember the train pulled into a station, and I was holding the subway pole, just reading. All of a sudden, when the doors opened, I was being shoved by someone getting off at their stop. I fell into the gap between the train and the platform. My left leg was crushed. I was in shock. The subway doors kept hitting my chest. Strangers had to help wedge me out. They wanted to call 911, but I just wanted to go home. On adrenaline, I took the subway home and then walked multiple flights of stairs to get to my apartment. And I went to bed, ready to move on with my life. But the next morning, my leg was so swollen. It was cold to the touch. I couldn't walk. I rushed to the emergency room. I spent hours there. They tested me to see if there was even circulation to my left leg, and I was scared that I may lose part of my leg. Just like that, I went from dancing on tables to being on bed rest. And from there, I began the long process of figuring out my new normal and finding my new purpose.
Wow, please welcome Rebecca Lamorte to the Tan family. Have a seat. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So you now walk with the cane. What is your status now?
I have a permanent disability. I have a degenerative nerve syndrome in my left leg, so I'm pretty much in pain all the time. And I walk with a cane because it helps take the weight off my leg. It helps with my mobility. It helps me walk upstairs, which is still one of the most difficult things for me to do. It just makes day-to-day life a lot easier for me.
The show is about hitting a rock bottom. Your health being compromised is a rock bottom for so many of us. What's amazing about you, first of all, you said you're in pain chronically, but you walked out here with this smile and this purpose. And this moment in your life, your rock bottom lit a fire in you. You became a disability justice advocate.
Yes. Yeah. It completely changed my life. And I went from being 22 and not seeing a flight of stairs and thinking twice about it, taking my body for granted like so many people do, and the next day I couldn't walk. Wow. I started living the reality that so many disabled people face, and the discrimination, the isolation, the segregation. If I was experiencing that, what was happening to other people? Wow. How are others being treated that don't have a platform, have the privilege that I do, honestly, as a white woman, to speak out and fight back? And it made me want to fight, not just for myself, but for everyone. And change.
I love it because we were talking about how people pull themselves up, but you said, I'm going to pull myself up. I'm going to pull other people up, too. You ran for City Council last year, something that you never thought you would have done. And it didn't work exactly like you wanted, but it did not stop you. No. And that's the thing about your rise. I always tell people, we're all gonna hit the mat. It's how you get up. And you've wanted to get up and bring others up with you. Yeah. Now, along the way, I'm told you even adopted a dog named Forrest.
Yes.
Forrest is a dog. He also has a disability?
Yes, I adopted him, and I didn't know it at the time, but he's fully blind. And I adopted him 6 months after my accident, and so he really gave me a purpose.
Yeah. What is your advice for others?
Feel those feelings, but let that drive you for something else.
Yes.
Let that push you to change what your reality is, change other people's realities, or find a new normal for yourself, which is what I did. And for me, that normal was running for office to fight for change. It's fighting for change in big and small ways still today as a disability advocate, and getting comfortable, owning that space, because you are who you are no matter what happens to you, no matter what experience you have. And you still need to go out there, and you can work it like I am. You can find your space, and you can be an advocate for yourself and others.
Thank you so much for being there for others in the midst of fighting for yourself.